Just ahead on American Black Journal, the NAACP National Convention is coming to Detroit. Reverend Wendell Anthony is here to give us all the details. Plus, the annual Concert of Colors is underway. I'll talk with the event's founder, Ismael Ahmed. Stay right there. American Black Journal starts now.
Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, Craft Made in Maryland cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Support also provided by the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, a partner with communities where children come first. The Cynthia and Etzel Ford Fund for Journalism at Detroit Public TV.
The DTE Foundation proudly supports 50 years of American Black Journal in covering African American history, culture, and politics. The DTE Foundation and American Black Journal, partners in presenting African American perspectives about our communities and in our world.
Also brought to you by Ally and viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. The city of Detroit is gearing up to host the 110th NAACP National Convention. The event brings together the nation's top policymakers, activists, and organizers with NAACP members and the local community. This year's theme is When We Fight, We Win. The convention takes place July 20th through the 24th at Cobo Center, and it's going to feature numerous guest speakers, interactive exhibits, a career fair, vendors, and much more. Here to fill us in on all of the details is the president of the NAACP Detroit branch, Reverend Wendell Anthony. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Stephen. Always good to be with you.
Yeah.
We are very excited, as you can imagine, about the 110th National Convention coming to Detroit. I think the last time we held a convention here was in 2007, some 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we're excited because this is a bridge year. This is the year between now and the presidential election.
Yep.
We have the census coming up. We have the presidential election coming up, all of which are critical and important, not only to Detroit and Michigan, but to the whole country. So we are very pleased to be hosting it. You mentioned our thing, when we fight, we win.
Yeah.
And certainly this is a time for fighting about policy, fighting about issues, fighting about principles. When one thinks of all the things that are going on in the country, particularly at the southern border, particularly around the census question that the president consistently is trying to violate what the Supreme Court has already decided, and the Constitution demands by the possibility of creating some executive memo or order to override the law. When you consider the fact that babies are being separated and are in horrific conditions, not being able to bathe, brush their teeth, have a shower or a bath. When you consider the fact that we may have an undercount of some 9 million people, if in fact he is allowed to put a question on which depresses the vote of brown people and eliminates the possible resources of black people, i.e. congressional districts, health care, infrastructure, education. I would say that we still have some fighting to do.
You have a little list of things to deal with.
No question about it.
Yeah, I mean, what's significant about this to me, or at least part of it, is the significance of the Detroit branch of the NAACP, which historically we have always referred to as the most important NAACP branch.
Well, we know who we are, and all roads lead to Detroit. The Detroit branch continues to be the flagship branch of the organization in terms of programs and size, and in terms of what we do. As you know, we have the largest Fight for Freedom Fund event in the country, bringing together policymakers, persons from presidents to grassroots people. We emphasize policy, and we strive to deal with those things that have an impact nationally. So we're pleased that the convention is going to run from July 20th through the 24th. On that Saturday, Stephen, before the convention officially kicks off, we have a big event at Beacon Park, which is a family day, a concert with local and national artists, Kool Moe Dee and Dougie Fresh and others. Open to the family, food, refreshments, come on down. Starts at 6. We have what we call the NAACP Spirit and Convention Plaza, Spirit Plaza, the area around Cobo Hall, where local vendors are going to be able to sell their product. Come on down, it's free and open. We have a big exhibit hall for national and local vendors. Come on down, that's free. Anybody can come to that. Nancy Pelosi will be speaking on Monday morning, Speaker of the House. The presidential candidates will be here on Wednesday. Come on down because you want to hear what they're going to be presenting. I know there's going to be a big debate in Detroit. Before we get to the debate, they're going to be at the NAACP house because of the significance of who and what we do. There will be entrepreneurial workshops on criminal justice, the AXO program, the Afro-Cultural Technological Scientific Olympics program, will be in full force. These are our competitors with our young people: science, music, dance, chemistry, robotics, art, you name it, they're going to be doing it. And these are the cream of the academic and educational community from all across the country. Aaliyah was a part of that. Anthony Hamilton was a part of that. Soraya came out of that. Came out of the AXO program. And so if I'd had that kind of music or singing talent, I might have came out of that, Stephen. But I had some other talents. And so, so I want to invite, this is your convention. This is our convention. We bring in the neighborhood downtown because normally when people have conventions don't go to the neighborhood. Right. That's why we're bringing the vendors downtown. So we're going to bring the neighborhood to the convention. All roads lead to Detroit. Everybody's excited about coming to the city of Detroit. You can go to naacpconvention.org to see what's going on, or go to DetroitNAACP.org, pull it up, list it out, and come and join us. And I just scratched the surface in terms of what's happening.
Right. So I wonder what you make of I mean, you mentioned that the presidential candidates, the Democratic presidential candidates are coming. I wonder what you make of the role that criminal justice and criminal justice reform has played so far in the Democratic primary. That's not something we often see them deal with, but I think everybody has been asked now about it.
I think everybody has, Stephen, and I think the role that's been playing is because when you look at the state of Michigan as an example, we have 14% of the African-American population is in Michigan. Yeah. Over 50% of the incarcerated are black people.
Black people, yeah.
And when you look around the country, the situation is the same. A lot of that has to do with the crime bill that was structured years ago. Now, in fairness, everybody basically supported that.
Back then,
black people, white people. So I'm not dropping it on the table of any one individual or individuals, because you had mayors, you had community activists, you had preachers and teachers who said, we got to do something about this horrific crime situation. People did not realize the collateral damage that it would do at that time. Well, we do realize it now. Yeah. And so that's why Bill Clinton came to one of our conventions and he said, I made a mistake with that bill.
He did.
And we held him to that. He said that. And so I'm simply saying that everybody now knows that they got to address that. One of the things that is significant about this cast of candidates is they're speaking to urban and African-American issues. If you're smart, you got to do that. One of the strongest constituency is the black vote, black women in particular. You got to speak to that. Black folk are going to play a major role in this election, and everybody got to get in it. The issues are too critical. The census is too critical. So people talking about my candidate didn't win, you better get in this. People talking about, I don't like what this person, you better get in this, because we did that before. You see what we got. We got tyranny in the White House. We got a despot in the White House. We got a man and a Pharaoh who knows not Joseph in the White House. Joseph is the people.
Right.
Joseph wanted health care. Joseph wanted education. Joseph won a job opportunity. He and the previous Pharaoh had that. But there rose a Pharaoh who was not with that. Now we got one, it's not a Pharaoh, it's a president who ain't with that program. So you better get off your duff and get in this stuff.
Yeah. The other thing, and we've got just a couple minutes left, the other thing that they've all talked about, we never have enough time.
I know.
The other thing, though, that they've all talked about is reparations. And it's really interesting to see that issue take front and center in a presidential contest.
As you know, there was a recent hearing on Congress around that. And John Conyers, God bless him, years ago, brought it back. He initiated H.R. 40. All H.R. 40 does is say, let's have a study. Let's talk about it. So when people say, I'm against reparations, because you don't know why you're against it. We've not even had the study. Georgetown University just said that they're going to pay reparations. But see, it's not a university issue. It's a nationwide issue. And so it comes in many forms. And so there's nothing wrong with studying it. And so that's why you see some of the presidential candidates saying, let's support the study. They didn't say that they all in with that, but at least let's study it. And so if we can compensate Jewish Americans, if we can compensate Japanese Americans, if we can compensate Native Americans, you mean we can't do nothing for Black Americans who still suffer from the effects of enslavement some 400 years later? One of the things that their studies have been saying is that the kids that are being locked up, put in cages, separated from their parents, are going to have these effects for the rest of their lives. Stephen!
Yes, the rest of their lives.
We were enslaved for 400 years, and people got an issue with the post-traumatic slave syndrome that we have. Surely you can't have a problem with that. All we're saying, let's study. If you study long, you might study, not wrong, but right, to the degree that we can see that maybe there is a reason that we can do something educationally. Maybe we should do something more in housing. Maybe we should do something more in economic development. But let's study it before we abort it.
I don't expect to see the president here during your convention, but he was invited, right? As all presidents are.
As the NAACP is, we are nonpartisan. Right. We have Republicans, Democrats, and independents, and those who don't know what they are, all a part of the organization. So we have invited the president, 45, Donald J. Trump. A week ago, I would have said, nah, I ain't coming. Today, I can't say.
You don't know? Well, maybe he'll be here. We'll see.
And everybody has a right to do whatever they want to do. Free speech.
Right, if he shows.
If he shows.
Well, let's hope he does. He should address this audience among others.
No question. Detroit and Michigan are key.
Yeah. All right. Always great to see you. And
Stephen,
we'll see you at the convention. Yes.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm going to talk to the people here. Wendell Anthony needs more time. So, thanks,
we'll give you the whole show next time. All right. Always good to see you.
Thank you.
All right. Just ahead, the annual music festival that celebrates diversity. But first, here's a 1981 Detroit Black Journal interview with jazz great Donald Byrd about musical talent in Detroit.
And we were analyzing why is it that this town of all cities would have, because I mean it's out the way, and why is it that it became the music center? And I was talking to some people today. Actually, I would say that when somebody one of these days sit down and write the history, they will find out that this town has produced more talent and musicians than any other city in America on a one-to-one basis. Now, when you got more people that come out of Detroit that are in the music entertainment field than any place in the world.
The celebration of music and diversity is in full swing here in Detroit. The 27th annual Concert of Colors features performances at several locations in the city's Midtown district. We caught up with musician Don Was as he rehearsed for the summer festival.
It makes a boy and a girl, yes, it feels so nice. I'm talking about love. Everybody needs love, yeah.
And joining me now is the festival's founder, Ismael Ahmed. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Stephen.
Yeah. So I love this concert because of what it represents, this idea of celebrating the diversity that is music and celebrating it in a city and a region that's as diverse as Metro Detroit. It all blends wonderfully together.
Well, thanks. You know, it was created by the communities of color here in Detroit 27 years ago. And now it embraces everything, every ethnic group, every kind of music, from India and Africa to right here in Detroit. A big emphasis on Detroit because we're such a great music city.
Yeah, yeah. As always, you have great headliners at the concert. Talk about who people will be able to see this year.
Well, you know, we're 4 days in, and today, actually, we will have a reggae band, probably one of the top reggae bands in the world. They've been around for 40 years. Third World, with a huge catalog of hits and so forth. We also are going to be opening up with Oswaldo Rivera. Now, Ozzy doesn't have any records, but he is the father of Latin music in Detroit.
Yeah.
He knows more about Latin music than anyone. He has a bunch of dancers. He has this Afro-Cuban dance group who are renamed Reconstruction, a little play on Puerto Rican. And he also has another group of dancers that are put together by this woman called Mambo Marcy. So it's going to be a big salsa opening on the main stage of the DIA Film Theater. And then right after that is a very unusual band. They're called Soul 47. I'm sorry, 47 Soul. And they're from Palestine. And they take a dubki, which is a traditional kind of Arabic dance music, and electrify the hell out of it. And so it's nothing like its origin.
What you would hear,
and it's great dance music. So, and we're also going to have Shigeto, who played the Techno Festival, and Taslima Bey, I don't know if you're familiar with her. She has a ragtime group, which includes Marion Hayden and some of the best jazz musicians in the city, and they are playing in Rivera Court. And opening up in Rivera Court, we have this really unusual thing. We're going to have yoga by Community Yoga in Rivera Court, which is cool enough by itself, but they will also be joined by music and the Detroit choral ensemble. So it'll be a big sound bath. So folks who like to do yoga with goats, this is a whole nother thing.
Yoga with goats,
So, and we're also going to go on a couple more days. So we've got some films at the Detroit Film Theater. We're going to have, we're going to start out with unshown film about Blue Note Records, and Don Was will introduce it and talk about the history of Blue Note.
And
that's then
important.
The next day, a film that has been shown before but not much seen, and that will be introduced by the head of the Caribbean Carnival and Cultural Association, Richard Paris, and it's a Grace Jones film. It's called Blood, Light, and Bambi, Bambi being a Caribbean kind of bread. And it shows the connections between the Caribbean and Grace Jones, as well as her music. So lots of good stuff still to come. We also have a stage today, which will be a singer-songwriter stage, and a lot of great musicians on that. And we have an outdoor stage. So for all the folks who like to picnic and bring the chairs and, you know, stuff to drink out on the DIA lawn. And I believe today we will also be having lowriders out there, and African dancers going around and performing. Just a few of the things.
Yeah. We should be clear, this is airing on Sunday, so
That's
all
right.
of these things have happened in the week up to
No, this is Sunday.
This is Sunday, right?
This
okay,
is
there you
just
go.
Sunday.
This is just Sunday. There we go. You see, you had it right.
And the films are Monday and Tuesday.
Are Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, so we get that.
And
right
it's
for
all
people.
free, by the way.
Yeah, it's all free. I mean, and then that's the thing that sort of stands out about this too. Again, is it's free. It's open to anybody, and it's really a welcoming gesture, right? Everybody come out and participate in this.
Yeah. Our aim is to bring in a lot of the communities from the suburbs, especially the ethnic communities, but others who may not come to the city much. But it's also the free part. You know, we live in a divided city.
Yeah.
We live in a city where there are people, and especially in Midtown, there are people who do well, you know, or do okay.
Yeah.
And then there are people who don't do so well,
don't do well
and
at
don't
all,
have money.
Yeah.
And we really believe they have a place there. They should be honored, and we should make it easy for them to be a part of all of this. Let me also say that if you want the schedule, people can go to concertofcolors.com. I'll say it one more time, concertofcolors.com.
Yeah. So when you started this, did you think that that it would endure this long and that it would be as sprawling as it is now? I mean, it's grown a lot over that time.
Yeah, it's grown a great deal, and we've had many homes and many main venues. You know, we started out with New Detroit. We were there for about 12 years, and then the Arab Community Center, Access, which I was a director of at that time, and then the Arab Museum was our home. And this year we got a brand new home, which is Culture Source. Omari Rush there invited us to join them. They are a coalition of 150 arts organizations. And our venues have changed too. We started out in the neighborhoods doing stuff, and they were so big that Mayor Young invited us to Shane Park.
Yeah.
And so we were at Shane Park for a good long time.
For a while, right.
And then we moved to the DSO. Ann Parsons and the folks there invited us and helped us to do it. And now the DIA is doing that. Larry Bransky and Salvador there, and all of them are really going out of their
really
way to make it
embracing,
happen.
yeah.
And I also have to give props to Midtown Inc., who are very involved in this. They're a community organization, but sponsored it and also helped us to promote it. And one more group, because, you know, we don't have a lot of money. So there's an old saying, when you don't have money, you got friends.
Right.
So, you know, some of the foundations like the Knight Foundation and Community Foundation and a few of the, like Comerica Bank and MGM are helping us out. But we couldn't afford marketing. And Mark's Lane, Michael Lane and Lana Minnie and that whole crew there stepped up and are doing all of the marketing for cost. And they're doing a gigantic job of it. So our friends are there. And then we have a whole collective of community folks who are making this happen for either almost nothing or nothing. So,
well, and that's all in the spirit of that big sort of embrace of music and of diversity here in the city.
You know, the other thing I'd say is this is a partnership too. So people who are involved are the DIA, the Charles Wright, the Historical Museum, the Science Museum, the International Institute, the Scarab Club, and a half a dozen, and the DSO.
All right there.
And all of them are venues as well.
Right.
So they're all putting in and helping out. So we've really got a lot of friends to make this happen.
So viewers should go out today, Sunday, and experience the Concert of Colors and into the week.
Absolutely. Right. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
Too. And fun with a message. We believe in things and we stand for things. And that's what we're all about, I think. We want a better world, and we can do it through the arts as well as by being active people.
Okay, Ismael, great to have you here, and we'll see you at the concerts.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. That's our program for today. Go to AmericanBlackJournal.org for more information on our guests and to check out past episodes. And you can always connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. We'll see you next time.
Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Support also provided by the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, a partner with communities where children come first. The Cynthia and Etzel Ford Fund for Journalism at Detroit Public TV.
The DTE Foundation proudly supports 50 years of American Black Journal in covering African American history, culture, and politics. The DTE Foundation and American Black Journal, partners in presenting African American perspectives about our communities and in our world.
Also brought to you by Ally and viewers like you. Thank you.